You're on.
Hi, Mom. So we're live with Yvonne Frost. And Joe Frost, yeah, I know. From the Church and School of Wicca. And Yvonne is one of the original founders of the Church and School of Wicca from about 1968. Yep. And so we want to get some pearls of wisdom, whatever's left.
Good luck with that.
As we move forward, and we figured live stream would be the way to do it. So welcome, Yvonne. And you said that you wanted to talk about Aquarius tonight, and then maybe some Imbolc and maybe some other things. You might be able to answer some questions.
True.
So all of those things are options.
And I found some stuff on Aquarius that is so important and so basic. I made notes, oh gasp. And when I think of Aquarius, I remember that it is a fixed sign. That is, when Aquarian makes up his mind, that's it. There's no negotiation, really. Not really a negotiation. And Aquarius is from January 22 to February 22, plus and minus a day or two, depending on the movement of the heavenly bodies. But, and there are iconoclasts. Aquarians love to say, there's an old tradition and I'm going to run at it with a broomstick and poke a hole in it because it's time to move on. We don't want our thoughts and our beliefs and assumptions to be fossilized in the past. So let's fall back a step and see whether we can't update some of these folk wisdoms. So Aquarians are very good at that, and if they can't replace an old folk wisdom with a new folk wisdom, or an old tradition with a new tradition, they will fine-tune the old version and at least dress it up a little, because that's what Aquarians do. They never take anything for granted. And astrologers talk sometimes about gregarious Aquarius. Aquarians love to have big bunches of people moving around together. It's not one of her and one of him off in the corner. Aquarians travel in packs, apparently. So they are known as gregarious Aquarius, because people love little jingly things, little poems, words. And what else? Adapting new ways to old things and using them in a different manner than before. Finding a new aspect that nobody had suspected in earlier times. So you can always look for surprises and no old mossy thoughts when the Aquarians are around. And that's kind of all that I thought was worth noting on the paper, on the script today.
Is that something you can see in all Aquarians, or is it sometimes that if an Aquarian is born after dark, that might be traits that are not easily seen?
After dark, you might not be able to see their freckles if they have them. But I think the traits will manifest and demonstrate themselves, whether the sun is above or below the horizon. Because those ways of thinking, unless you got hairy palms, those ways of thinking don't change at sundown, as far as I know.
But sometimes, like when you think about somebody born with Mercury retrograde, that they might have difficulties with communication or completing tasks, and so somebody who's born during the daylight in the sun sign of Aquarius might have some different aspects showing than people who are born in the dark hours during the sun sign of Aquarius. But sometimes people don't manifest as obviously as their sun sign on their chart.
Right. It depends on their rising sign a lot of times, which is not their birth sign necessarily. If they're born not at dawn, all horoscopes tend to get cast from a dawn time. But that's not always accurate, because things every 4 minutes, we're told, an angle of a heavenly body changes. Something is moving all the time. And the universe does not tick over. It floats. And so yes, you're right.
And so do we have events happening tonight?
Tonight we are talking during an eclipse. We haven't seen it because there were too many trees and houses and too much furniture in the way, but we'll see it before the eclipse is over because we'll adjourn this happy session and go out and look at the heavenly bodies and their movements.
It's right if my car can make it because I'm almost out of gas.
In the real world,
Yeah.
and we run low on gas too, and get the little precious little red light on our dashboard.
Feet on the ground and head in the stars, right?
Yes, oh yes. Oh, yes.
So we have the New Year of the Rooster last week.
Yes, the year of the rooster with the new moon. I think it was new moon that came.
Yeah.
And there are perfectly valid belief systems that we don't hear much about because we're in the Western Hemisphere. Did you know there are 4 hemispheres? The Eastern and the Western?
No, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
And the Northern and the Southern.
Yeah.
We have a quadrant-shaped Earth. oh dear. But yeah, and while we were at the library the other day, I got something I've been dreaming of, one of those floating in tent things, you know. Someday I want to do so and so. Someday I want to. Well, by goodness, if I didn't get something come true this week that I had been thinking of in a kind of mystic way for a long time, I got out a book or two on John Muir, the naturalist and the forester and the person who was he founded the Sierra Club. He loved nature and its beauty so much that he founded the Sierra Club finally as a byproduct of his investigations. And what he wanted to do with his life was walk around outdoors and look at stuff and the way nature worked. And I finally got pinned down a book or two of his and looked at his biography and at his work, his thoughts as he covered the face of the earth. As he investigated.
He mainly walked in the northern United States, right? He didn't really go.
He
Other
didn't
places
go to
very
the
much.
Amazon. He wanted to go there. All his adult life, he dreamed of doing the Amazon, but he walked from Wisconsin to Florida, looking at things all the way. He didn't just put his foot on the pedal and go. He looked at where he was, and he lived, he walked and moved consciously, as in living mindfully, not living mindlessly. So he from Wisconsin to Florida, he did that, and I think he took the train west and hit California, and that was it. He loved it so.
So keep going. You like the song?
I had to finish the phrase.
Oh. Completion anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Don't stop in the middle. And he wrote about places in areas I had been between the coast, the San Francisco coast, and Yosemite. He wrote about all that lovely stuff in the Central Valley and all that area before it was scalped and paved over. And it must have been beautiful. It must have been beautiful. And if he came back today and saw it through those same eyes, he would be heartbroken because it is so paved over and so tidied up and so scraped and plowed and landscaped and beautified and plowed to death. I hate to think what he would feel if he would have come back.
We had some Native American friends who said that all roads are seams on the earth, and they're all scars.
Yes.
On this earth. So
Yes.
that was
That's, I like that way of looking at it.
so that we're not fans of more roads, although we do know that roads are necessary for transportation. It's hard to find the balance between the ever-growing human population and their needs and what we need to do to keep the earth healthy.
Yes. Yes.
And so he was definitely an advocate for health of the earth.
Yes. When I see somebody throw a cigarette butt down, I sometimes want to yell after him, "You threw that in the face of the mother. Come back and pick it up."
Listen, you guys don't understand. We have to stop her from picking up stray people's cigarette butts. Please don't do it. For her health and safety, please keep your butts with you at all times. Because she will stop, she will pick them up, she won't look where she's going, so she will, it's not sanitary. This is my little spiel. It's not that she touches other people's saliva on their used butts, and then she puts them in the trash, and then she doesn't wash her hands. And then...
I washed them only earlier this week. I washed them.
See?
They're not, I don't want to wear them out.
So, and here we go. So, please dispose of your cigarette butts appropriately. It's not just the rabbits that might eat the butts that might get sick and die. It's this thing right here. Because not only that, if she sees a butt with her cane, you don't know how many times she's nearly fallen over because she's seen a thing on the ground. A thing. It doesn't even have to be a cigarette butt, does it?
No.
It can be a piece of string.
No, it doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong there.
It does not belong. You are correct, but you do not have to tidy the entire planet.
And I never will. I won't get there. I won't. Not at this rate. I would like to say a word for Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, because one is too many in our family. So it's
no. One is just right. One is just right. But we lurch along doing what we can. And I figure if I pick up something with germs on it, and then the germs get on my skin or something, I'm developing resistance. Because remember the bubble boy who couldn't tolerate any bacteria or any kind of germy, wormy stuff at all? And he had to live in the plastic bubble? Couldn't even have a girlfriend.
That's all that matters to you. I've got no words. I've got no words.
Lived too long with the Scorpio. long enough. Apparently. So we lurch along doing the best we can in our modest way. And we use plastic bottles one use.
But we can refill those as long as you drink from them.
Yes.
Right?
It's I who will be drinking from my bottle.
And what do we do with them after we're done? Because we're neurotic and we recycle. Everything.
We recycle.
We recycle children if we can. Right? And we recycle a kid.
To pass it on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We.
Okay. Here you go. Come here and be part of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Utter a word of wisdom to our junior audience.
I don't know. He's a brightly colored, stripy child with his favorite color in his mouth. Do you have your favorite color? Red.
And my other favorite color is blue.
Really?
Oh,
But they make purple, so why isn't purple your favorite color?
This is blue.
This is...
Red and blue.
Yeah, and they don't make purple together? No. Now, what holiday is coming up? What holiday have you heard about at school is coming up?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, that's right. Look, I have little hearts on my shirt. Do you know the story of St. Valentine? So the story of St. Valentine is that he took 3 golden balls to very poor women and gave them 3 golden balls in order to keep them from being sold. So that was, he saved them from a very poor life. And so that's the story of St. Valentine. And that's why we give presents on Valentine's Day. We're having a side conversation. I did say it was okay. So,
sure?
yeah, we're good. So I did.
He bothers you. Please tell us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Valentine's Day used to be pretty brutal. My other child, this is not one of my children by birth, my other child who's sitting beside me says that Valentine's Day used to be pretty brutal. And so we don't always celebrate Catholic holidays, do we? Because we have St. Valentine's Day. Boy, everybody wants to be a part of this tonight. So St. Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day is one of those Catholic holidays that everybody knows about. And what is a Catholic holiday that we recently had that not everybody celebrates on the holiday, and that would be Candlemas, right? Which
Yeah.
so Candlemas would be the Catholic holiday, or St. Bridget's Feast, right? And
Whereas-
we had Imbolc,
Whereas we call it Imbolc, and we
Right.
use the right date.
the right date. Well, people have different dates.
Yeah, different, yeah, different perspectives on things.
That's right, right. So not everybody celebrates on the same day. Some people celebrate on February 2 because that's convenient for work and for life and for school. And some people celebrate on a full moon,
Yes.
right? Which would be today. This is a very exciting full moon because we have an eclipse and a comet and some planets are lining up. So that's a very, and apparently the boys are lining up. We gotta find some balance today, don't we? We have the young, what do we call you, sir? What do we call
Pluto.
young master? Is he Pluto?
Yeah.
Young Pluto, and then we have the crone, the aged crone, and then we've got the two in betweeners, right? And we got the.
What about Jupiter?
Huh?
Would that be Jupiter?
Are you jolly? Are you jolly Jupiter?
Yeah.
Okay, you can be jolly Jupiter.
You can be. Wait. What?
Not Saturn. Who's an old
Uranus.
Neptune, right, for dreams?
Okay.
You think? You want to be Neptune, or
I
you?
suppose as good as anything else.
Yeah. Hi.
And you.
Then I get to wear scaly.
I don't know. I'm kind of crabby. Think I should be Mars? No. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm kind of salty. So you think Mars is salty?
Good.
think-
That's good.
I think I'll be Earth.
You're gonna be Earth? Yeah. Do you like Earth because there's oxygen?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. That's a good thing, right?
If I get to be Neptune, can I wear scaly pantyhose?
No.
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 I want to wear scaly pantyhose.
All right. I think
One
you really
day a
want to be a
year.
mermaid. I don't think you want to be Neptune. I think you want to be a mermaid.
Maybe so.
Yeah, you're going to be a mermaid with your fins and
And
your
I'll-
dolphin, pretending to be a dolphin. You
I'll wear
quit.
my thing,
You quit.
my kit,
You quit.
once every Saturn cycle, every Neptune cycle.
Yeah, once every Neptune cycle. Well, you'll have plenty of
That's
time.
about 150 years.
That's
or whatever
right.
it is.
So we were talking about Nimble.
Yeah, and Imbolc is the is when the mother sheep focus entirely on the little lambs and give them milk, and that's when the shepherds watch their flocks by night, as in Imbolc.
Because they can't be trusted, like this little thing.
Yeah, true.
Fire, right? St. Bridget's Feast
Okay,
and St. Bridget's Fire.
all right, yes.
Yes? More to that?
That off. Okay, let's hook just tonight. Let's just wing it and make a whole fresh concept on things, and put that on March 21, the spring equinox.
Yeah?
Why not? And March 21 is Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday, and he had 20 children who survived.
20 children, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a lot, children.
it is.
live. Yeah, live births or live babies. And St. Bridget's fire. Bridget was a triple-faced goddess, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And she is still extremely popular in Ireland and the Celtic lands.
Yes. Yes, we had some St. Bridget's Fire brought back to us many years ago by one of our friends who went to Ireland. So, in Hinton. And so we have candles that were lit by Bridget's Fire. Yep.
Not everybody can boast that.
No, I thought it was a real blessing
Yes.
to have that.
Yes, truly. And we also have the lady, the goddess statue. That's one of the oldest goddess statues in the world. It's a museum replica of the real statue, and she is from a cave in Lascaux in southern France, Lascaux. We have the lady holding a cow's horn in one hand, and I think a grain of wheat, a sheaf of, an ear of wheat in the other hand. and she's on the fireplace mantle in Hinton. So
Yes, she is.
ancient, so
Yep.
ancient, and so such a treasure to my heart.
Yeah.
To my heart, she is. What else I talked about John Muir and how I knew I was going to enjoy his work, and he was so articulate about the beauties of nature and the seasons of the year and the cycles and the rhythms and that. And all the animals and the birds. When he was in Central California, there were birds there. It wasn't all farmland and stuff and pavement. I said to my sister in Los Angeles the other day, I have in my mind a vision that, in my mind's eye, that you can come out of the water at the ocean shore in California and walk to Arizona state line on rooftops without touching the ground on the way. And she said, "You're just about right."
Just about, yeah. We but people can have sanctuaries even in the cities. Like, I live in town and I have a bamboo stand, and I have lots of birds that winter over my bamboo stand. So you can create sanctuaries for the animals even in town.
Yes.
So that's a good way to proceed. I know that people aren't comfortable with paving, but you can find ways again to strike that balance. And so I have elderberries and blackberries in my yard, and I have an herb garden, and I have a bamboo stand, and I have lots of vines that grow things that feed the birds. And the next round is to grow as many native plants as possible.
Yes.
So that there's native West Virginia plants and cohosh in my yard,
This part
and
of
wintergreen.
the
That's good. Okay. So we have cohosh and of course, because I love lavender, which isn't really a native plant, there's lavender in my yard, and some ramps, which Yvonne will not eat ever.
You have them all yourself.
Yeah. Yep. But we like our native West Virginia parts in our yard to help encourage the environment.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do our best with what we have. Are we getting any questions tonight?
None so far.
Okay. That's okay.
It's a Friday night.
Yeah.
People
We're
are
getting
busy.
people are watching us.
People are
That's
watching.
right. People are watching you.
But guess what? No school tomorrow.
You know what? I'm pretty happy about that. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, but because I did not go to school today because it was 50 degrees outside.
50 degrees, and you didn't go to school. What happens when it's 40 degrees?
Super cold.
It is super cold?
Yeah, only with 2 letters or 3 letters or 4 letters
Do you know what I have to do tomorrow?
make it cold. What?
I have to go teach robots tomorrow. Yeah, I have to teach children about robots tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you meant
So-
robots at desks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to sit there and teach the robots how to be AI. Nope, I'm going to teach children about robots and how to make robots move.
And
And
do all wacky other things
Yeah.
like smash each other.
no,
Like
we're
in
not
Battle
doing
Bots.
BattleBots. We're not doing BattleBots yet. So what do you think? Have you ever watched BattleBots with your daddy? Yeah?
No,
You
I watched the commercial of Battle Drones.
Yep, it's similar. Yep. So that's the thing. We strike a balance in our lives. We have all of these wonderful esoteric ideas, like in bulk, and we talk about in bulk, and we talk about Aquarius, and then tomorrow we talk about robots, which are very pragmatic and do things for us, and we have technology. So that's the way we find balance in our lives. And then sometimes we cut little boys' hairs because they can't see. What do you think? No? You don't want me to cut your hair?
Technology.
Nope, I got
I
2
like
little
it.
boys with long hair. So you like it long? Yep, because you can hide. You know how we like to hide. My mom sometimes wants to hide too. She can be sneaky. She's funny. She says.
Fired.
She has lots of private thoughts.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes on hide and seek, somebody finds someone else first. They did find me last.
Yeah? Is it hard to hide for a really long time and be quiet and be still?
Yeah, it's like I was playing hide and seek. I was being really quiet and not saying a thing. I did not. Talk.
Yeah.
We move.
So we used to have friends that were children who loved to play hide and seek, and do you know why they loved to play hide
Why?
and seek? Because they loved to be found. They wanted to know that people wanted to find them, because not everybody wanted to find them, did they?
No.
So,
Like this on hide and seek. Like this on hide and seek.
yep, that's a good hide and seek,
Uh-oh.
isn't it? Yep, there you go. I see you.
You're still too jumpy.
Oh.
So, are you going to come sit again?
Yeah.
That's exactly the way to play hide and seek. It's a good way.
Yeah, and then we like to be found. We like to be found. That's balance. So again, there's balance, right? We hide and then we're found. And so you get both. You get a balance in your life. So do you know what I mean by balance? Yeah, that there's good and bad, right?
Some of this and some of that, and
Yeah.
everybody's fine. Oh, look here. Look at this. Oh,
Okay,
no.
we're getting snuggles. So what else? Do you have any other thing you would like to talk about tonight?
I don't.
No, when we shut down, I'll think of a half a dozen things
Yes, that's true. You always think of something afterwards.
afterwards.
I
So,
have a pillow on me.
yeah, you do. So what are we working on for the website? We're working on, did you hear what we were talking about earlier that we were working on for the website?
No, I did not.
So we're working on getting the course, the Essential Witchcraft course, almost completely electronic. And we've got prediction that we can put up on the website. That'll be coming up in the next year probably.
Yes.
And astral travel. So we're pretty sure we can have 3 courses up within the next year
Oh,
on the
yes.
website. We've got a bunch of videos. The videos are looking great. We had to dig through Gavin's collection of videos to find working videos that we could use for the website, but they're all up and easy to access now. And we have other stuff, limited quantities of other stuff that we're trying to kind of clean out the shelves, because we have to move the office so that we have easier access to the office.
Yes.
Since you're not driving now, and
Yes,
we have one car between all of us, and all of this excitement.
And besides everything else, when the shelves are empty, we can put new stuff in.
Oh, what a
New
great
stuff.
idea! What a great.
And we're all going to sit around and have ideas about what to put up next.
Yeah, there may be
And
requests. There may be things that people want.
Well, if we hear from people, there may be subjects of interest
Mhm.
that we can respond to
Yes.
and have big ideas.
Yeah. I think it's really cool to have our children with us, and our children that aren't really our children, but they love us anyway, with us, because we're at the beginning of the growing season of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. It's not really the beginning, that's right. It's not really the beginning of the growing season in the Southern Hemisphere, but it is the beginning of the growing season in the Northern Hemisphere, right? That even if we're not planting things in the ground, which we might be able to do further south, that we can plant things indoors and start seeds inside and start things growing. And we've got all this growth in life right here with us
Oh, have we
to help
ever?
us,
Have
to
we
help us
ever?
get ready for
It's wonderful.
spring, and think about how great it is as the year peekaboos back, right? As we start to peek out from under the ground.
Yeah.
So, and I'm being petted. So
Yes.
this is quite an experience. So,
You get it in stereo.
I am. So, what kind of things would you think about doing for you in this time of year, in the February in bulk time of year?
Seed catalogs.
Seed catalogs, yes, we have a few sitting on the dining table for sure.
I love book catalogs.
Book catalogs? No, I'm taking her to the library. It's much less expensive. So it's
Yeah. Take the list. Yes. And I have some old T-shirts I may discard because they are warm and they've been lovely, but they're getting a little thin here and there.
They are.
Yes.
They are. One of the things that we wrote about in the blog post was about how February is a time of purification.
Yes.
And so
yes.
this is a good time to clean out our closets of things we don't need, and a time to, that you can remind yourself of your diet that you might have started January 1 and didn't follow through on.
Right.
And, but it's a good time to clean out closets and do that really deep cleaning that you might not have had time to do over the holidays.
And fold up some of the heavier quittles.
Yeah.
And just put out the lightweight blankets.
Bobby Joe, you're silly. So, there's a question down below. No, I just see Bobby's. Bobby's comment. I'm sorry. So. Nah.
So
Okay. That's a friend of ours. Bobby is a friend of ours from Florida. So I'm glad. Thank you for watching. Yeah, Bobby Joe.
She watching?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
She was asking about an intelligence spell so she could be as smart as you.
She's smarter. She makes more money than the two of us combined.
Yes.
So
Yes,
she's.
yes.
That's it. Hi.
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 One spell is take everything with it, add 1 grain of salt to everything.
No.
That sounds like it's more to teach patience than
No, that's if you want the spell for learning patience, you move your mother in with you.
Yeah, I guess I earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somebody that likes to party a lot.
Very good. That's good. So, no, you're fine. So, well, I missed that. You're somebody who likes to party a lot?
No, or if somebody likes to party a lot. That's the spell of patience.
That's the spell of patience.
Mm.
So, I think the way we spell patience is P-A-T-I-E-N-C-E. Can you do that? P-A-N-C-E. That's pants. That's
Oh, well, I know how to spell happy.
Do you?
H-A-P-P-Y.
I thought you were going to say M-O-M-M-Y.
H-A-P-P-Y.
Come on. I'm gonna get you if you don't come on.
Good luck, Daddy.
Come
Go
on.
with Daddy.
Come on.
Thank you for being with us.
Okay. All right.
So,
Let's,
seed catalogs, purification, new beginnings, right? Is there anything that we can say for the Southern Hemisphere for this time of year because we have an international audience now, right? Are there things that we can say for the Southern Hemisphere?
It's time for first fruits harvest and a time of gratitude for
Yeah.
the harvest
That's right.
and what the spring planting has resulted in for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, aren't you?
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's a pause and a deep breath and okay. So what else have you done in February? I'm trying to think of some of the things that we've done in February that have been memorable. I don't really remember many Februarys. I remember cold in Missouri on the pig farm.
Yes.
And I remember North Carolina. I remember there being snow in North Carolina at least once, but cold. What else? What else is there in February's? And is February a time when you guys made decisions that we did in the summer? When did you guys make those decisions to move and all of the things that we did through time?
Oh, it was completely random.
Was it completely random?
We didn't have an overview plan of.
No. The 5 year, you didn't have the 5-year plan.
No way on earth. It was all improv and make up as you go along.
Yeah. With the idea that you're being guided somehow along the way.
Yes.
That it wasn't just ego.
No.
Somebody was pushing you along.
Yes. Because we had blanks on our resume
Yeah.
to fill in.
So who are you giving that resume to?
The guides.
Somebody up there.
Yes, yes. The guys who push us from square to square and give us hints as to what they'd like to see us address next.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like when I use the word address as a verb, but that's okay.
No, I think some of your language usage is confusing. Like you say that Gavin graduated, and lots of people don't know what that means. That Gavin graduated.
Okay.
You know, that's sometimes it's not necessarily they don't like your language usage, but they don't know what you mean when you do stuff like that.
Yeah. When I understand perfectly well, the graduation is what is laying down this student identity and going home to be with the counselors and guides and make sense of what we have experienced and of the term papers we've written and see what's next, what's left before we can move up a real grade from human level to what's next up above. And I don't know whether I even ought to go into that here.
Yeah, it's fun. You have
Okay.
an audience that's interested in more in what you have to say than what I have to
People
say.
who want to be hearing this stuff.
Yeah.
My thoughts and experiences. When we do all this, when we have learned everything we can learn from being human beings of all genders, we move up a step, and that may mean that well, certainly it will mean that we become somebody else's guide for a while and help them get through. But it means further, beyond that, it means that we may become a ocean-dwelling mammal, a whale or a dolphin or a porpoise, because goodness knows they are kinder to their fellows than we humans are to our fellows. Or we may join with two other souls and become a three-in-one, and that fact is reflected in all these three-faced gods that people catch glimpses of, and they say, "Oh, I saw a god with three faces." It was three humans who had bonded and become one identity in the next level upward.
There's certainly lots of that imagery around with the triple goddess and the three-in-one
Yeah.
deity construct.
Yeah.
That transcends one religious culture for sure.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So,
It's
That's an
very
interesting
widespread.
thought. I don't play well with others, so maybe I've got a long ways to go before I get to that point.
I am amazed at your skills.
That's-
Amazed at your
I'm not fishing for compliments, Bob.
No, I know that. I know you're not.
So one of the things Bobby Joe asks, what about removing obstacles and setting goals and making plans? What would be something that you could recommend, or maybe even a little spell or meditation on removing obstacles to your goals? And I know she has some real specific goals in mind, but other people have goals in mind as well that they'd like to
Yeah.
remove obstacles for.
Yeah. Okay. My first thought is meditation. With that in mind, I'm assuming that people know what I mean when I say meditation, and in case hearers don't know the Gospel of St. Yvonne, I will summarize it here and say that, where were we?
Meditation.
Meditation, yeah. There is a coin. Let's postulate a coin, and one side of the coin is called prayer, and we hear a lot about that in conventional religions. Pray, pray, pray. Sit on Santa's lap and do your list. But the other side of that coin is meditation. Stop and listen for guidance. Listen for guidance, and it may not come like a slideshow on the back of your eyelids. That would be all too simple, but it may come, as it does for me sometimes, in the phrase of a song that comes like maybe 48 hours after I've meditated with that thing clenched in my head, that goal or that thought or that decision in my head. The answer may come, or the hint may come way later, when if you're just zooming along the highway, or if you're just washing dishes or whatever you're doing, that is kind of a mindless task where the hands are busy but the mind is on neutral, just barely humming, where the grass level is low.
So one of the things you might think about is if you were to light a candle, what would you say when you lit a candle to help remove obstacles?
I light this candle with the purpose of removing obstacle X from my path. That is my goal. And I address the goal by lighting this candle, that the energy from the candle may be employed in removal of that goal, of that obstacle.
So, that's fine. So one of the things that we talk about is Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde affects people very differently, especially based on how they live their lives and how they function. And I know that, I have lots of kind of funny stories about Gavin being deeply affected by Mercury retrograde and being frustrated by the obstacles that were in his way. But I think one of the things that I've found is that if you put Mercury retrograde to good use and you look to complete tasks during Mercury retrograde, that then the way to achieve the obstacle becomes more clear as Mercury retrograde winds down. So even if I'm not doing a spell or lighting a candle or doing something very proactive to reach a goal, that I am looking at Mercury retrograde as a tool to use towards achieving a goal, because I'm clearing out some of my life's clutter during Mercury retrograde in order to make my way forward, move forward towards my goal. It's not always a direct path to get to that goal.
Right. Right.
The goal of you living with me now came via a pig farm in Missouri and a boatyard in North Carolina and various moves and various events that put us here together. So that was not a straight path that had an end to game in mind. But it's a goal ultimately for us that will help us heal our family and help us be a stronger family unit as we move forward.
Yes.
So
as we get acquainted with each other's ways, and can work more harmoniously together with
reacquainted,
with less waste motion.
Right, absolutely.
And that's a really worthwhile goal to work for, I think.
Right. That it's our goal, right? That we're functioning well as a family, but that's not necessarily other people's goals.
Right. But if they can even define their goals and set some goals for themselves,
absolutely,
instead of just drifting.
Right. Putting that energy, and that's what we talk about when we talk about people writing rituals, investing that energy in crafting a well-created ritual is half the battle. That you put that energy into something and defined it, made it a well-defined path forward. And that's one of the things, I did that with a student the other day, and we didn't create a ritual, but we did talk about some goals in great detail in a way that he had not done before.
I have to say, those kids in your classes are lucky kids.
Well,
to have you.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Thanks. I got a vote of confidence on the other side of the room. So.
Of sorts. But yes, if people can live mindlessly, just lurching from day to day, without even thinking about the fact that they're buying groceries for next week's breakfast. They don't think that far ahead.
Right.
But that's not the way I want to live. I want to live mindfully.
Well, act with intention, just like you talked about. Appreciate when you meditate, that you appreciate nature, appreciate what's around you, and you're such a fan of John Muir because he could appreciate what was around him without modifying what was around him.
Right. He didn't have to improve it.
Without being ego-driven, having an ego-driven involvement with the forest.
Right.
He had his appreciation of what was available to him, what was gifted to him.
Yes, and his prose is lyrical. I am so glad to have found it at last. So glad to have paid attention. I knew it was there and blah, blah, Mirror Woods and all that, but now I know something of his mindset. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, but it's good to have goals, long term and short term.
Right, right. And making clarity with your goals and steps. Sometimes, like we talked about, crafting a well-crafted ritual is half the process, about putting your intention into that and being mindful of what you're doing. And the same thing is true about goals. Crafting those goals and being sure that you're doing short-term, small steps and the bigger steps. So you have baby steps and then you have giant steps. What do those giant steps look like, and how do you break those down into getting? And so those are good. Each one of those has a different aspect. If you think about rituals and candle magic, or stones, using stones for the magic, each one of those has a different intention. So if I want to do my baby steps towards understanding what other people mean to say to me, because I find that's one of my biggest challenges, is hearing what somebody says to me rather than what I expect them to say, is hearing what they say. Mm-hmm. And so I do try to wear a lot of citrine, because I know that citrine helps me hear what people mean to say. And so that's the kind of thing that I look for. So stone, lighting candles that are the right color and the right intention and don't have a leaded wick. Because I don't know if people know this, but if you buy inexpensive candles, if you check the wick and you can draw a line with the wick, that means that there's lead in the wick, and you do not want to light those candles and have lead in an environment with young children like we've had here tonight.
Right.
So that's very important, to not have that. To check your candles and not always buy the cheapest candles. And your blinds too. Your blinds can have lead in them.
Mm.
But
and I suppose if sunshine hits them, it's worse than ever.
That's exactly how you get lead in the environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From inexpensive blinds, getting sun on them, and the paint degrades and releases lead into the environment.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
you have had painful personal experience with that, haven't you?
yeah. That, I enjoy looking lead paint in the walls, and people probably don't get that that's a joke. But
I was thinking of possum trot.
Yeah, right. So anyway, but you have to be careful with your candles, and there's a lot of evidence now that buying and consuming products that have a lot of chemicals in them instead of man-made or human-made essential oils to scent a candle, or essential oils to scent incense, the more chemicals that you have, the more chemicals you're putting into your environment. And we just don't know all the full effects of that. So that we're careful about that. And I'm very careful about that in my classroom with scents and that kind of thing. And I do complain when there's perfume spraying and that kind of thing. So that, just be careful about looking at the kinds of candles you're consuming, making your own, of course, with intention, are absolutely the best. Mm-hmm. Making clothes with positive intention and making candles with positive intention are simply the best for what you want to do when you want to remove obstacles or set goals. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody can get the all-natural lifestyle or get the or make the all-natural candle. But it's worth considering.
Yes, and if you can't make your own craft tools, magical tools and things, magical supplies, at least you can say over them, I do this with the intent that, harming none, and make that, articulate that intent, express it, so everybody on both sides of the veil is clear on what you're aiming for.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes I see these things happen, and the clouded vapors coming off of this and that, and I think, I can't wait to see the baby.
Is that cataracts? Is that cloudy vapors?
All right.
Yes, that was very ageist. I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. Not everybody knows. Not everybody who is young and has heard dreadful tales knows that a cataract surgery can be almost a drive-through. Mine was so straightforward and so ideal, so close to the ideal, that I don't think anybody ever ought to worry again. Anybody in the Western world ought to worry.
Well, you've had such tremendous positive benefits from your eyes in the last 10 years where you were not able to see as well when I was younger. And you healed on your own eyes for a long time
Mm-hmm.
and had good luck with that. Because
Mhm.
you use your glasses a lot less now than you used to.
Yeah, they may not be as strong, I do not know.
Yeah. What was the practice that you used when you were healing on your own eyes? Do you remember that?
Only vaguely.
Oops.
It would be, it would
Because
have
it was
been
effective, so why
the-
should you remember it?
It worked, and I've moved on. Just do like this and affirm.
I thought you crossed your hands. Did you cross your hands? Maybe?
50-50, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't get all zoomy in this eye and ziggy in this eye.
Yeah.
Mix them
Yeah.
equal parts.
Yeah.
But the idea is to live mindfully.
Mm-hmm.
To live mindfully.
Do we have more questions coming in? Or are we kind of
So
quiet?
Bobby just asked, can I take dancing through Wicca.org or do I need to come to West Virginia?
Well, in Bobby's case, she gets to come to West Virginia to take a dancing.
Yeah, and
Lessons,
bring a
yeah.
partner with her.
I don't think you guys have, well, Dennis, I don't think you guys have dancing videos, do you, that people
No.
made of you?
No.
No, that's really interesting because that was such a huge part of your lives,
Yeah.
to teach dance lessons.
It was a pleasure, just almost 100% pure pleasure.
Yeah, but it was a big part, and you guys did teach a lot of people to dance.
Yeah,
So-
wind them up. If they walk out of the room smiling, it's just such a vote.
She has offered to teach one of my colleagues how to dance before his wedding this summer.
Oh, really now?
Yes, she has. So we haven't. He hasn't taken me up on that offer yet, but he's a little.
You never asked.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's another wedding in our future, so there may be somebody else who's up for some dance lessons before his wedding. So yeah,
We'll see.
we'll see.
Because I don't want to think that I have danced my last.
No, we know you haven't.
Just gotta keep going, right?
Yes.
We have the big cardboard L and big
She will
cardboard
get up
R.
and fix you. Don't think she won't get up and come after you.
Just give me a beat.
That's right.
Just give me a beat. That's all I ask.
So that may be something we should do is film you dancing and teaching people how to dance.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think that would be good because you've been so passionate about it for so long.
Yeah, and it's such a natural thing. Before babies can let go of the couch and walk on their own, they can move and beat. They'll move with the beat.
Those they can suck their toes. That's important.
As long as it's their own.
Yeah, they can suck their own toes.
Yes, that's important. Natural behaviors are there for a reason.
They are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know the therapists who've been coming to the house to help me get well again with my leg and all.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught two of them how to do a rumba beat.
Oh my goodness.
And then take it home
Where
to
did
their
you
husband.
find the beat? Did they play music?
They
on
have
their phone?
little music. They have little
Little
radios and
things.
telephones and things they carry with them.
Yeah.
Little electronic things, and they can. One of them especially, the Filipino,
Mm-hmm.
has a Latin channel that she can.
Oh,
play.
that's
And
awesome.
she took it home and played it for her husband and told him a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I'd rather teach somebody to dance than to try and stand on that sinister blue cushion
Oh,
and
my
try to balance
goodness.
myself with
Yeah.
my eyes closed.
That is hilarious. You get so mad. That's
Yeah, especially if I fall over.
Well, you haven't fallen over yet. How to read an obvious sign from someone who has passed. So, sometimes we don't always notice the messages that we're given.
Yes.
So,
Yes, there's
what's a good way to be a better listener besides meditation? What's a good way to be a better listener?
Expect it.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't know how, or if they can't, or if they have nothing to say, they won't do it. But if you're not open, you won't hear anything. You won't hear.
So be
it as in-
receptive.
Yes, be
Yeah.
receptive. Be open and receptive. In the subtlest signs. There was a guy whose young son died after drugs, and he the sun came back and put two adjacent doors at exactly the angle that the hands of the clock would form if it was 8:20 at night, 8:20. If the doors were in the 8:20 position, that was the sun coming, saying, I'm thinking of you, and we're not finished. I'll be back to finish business with you. Anything can be serve as the avenue of message.
Well, and I think about, we talked about candles and stones and different ways that people respond to things, because I think that we all have, items that we're more in tune with than others. So some people might be more in tune with a liquid, some people might be more in tune with an earth, a representation of earth. Ted Andrews wrote the book Animal Speak, and one of the things that he said in that text that really stuck with me was, if you see animals that are unique to the situation, so for instance, you're driving through cow pasture after cow pasture after cow pasture, you're not necessarily going to take a message from the cows as you're driving past all these pastures, but if you happen to see a weasel, that's a unique occurrence, possibly specific to you, and so perhaps you should take the message from the weasel, because that's a more unusual occurrence as you're driving through these fields, to think about what the message of the weasel is. And that's, I thought that was an interesting take on it, because again, not everybody's going to see the stone or respond to the stone, and not everybody's going to have this very esoteric moment that says, oh, here's my message for you. And we used to have tea leaf readers, and we don't do tea leaves like that anymore, where our tea leaves are all tightly contained in little mesh baggies or whatever container.
Yes.
And so the tea leaves can't send us the messages. So it's always a possibility that the message is elsewhere. When I was living in a much older house, I used to dream of things, and I couldn't figure out why I was dreaming of these things. And I asked a mutual friend of the family's, and he made the comment that this was some of the previous tenants of the house trying to get my attention, where I was remodeling the house, trying to get my attention to where I was remodeling the house. Not that it was a big message or anything, just that they wanted me to know that they were watching, as previous tenants of the house. They hadn't moved on, that they still really had loved that property and wanted to be around that property.
Yes.
So that was an interesting occurrence, because you don't always know what those messages mean.
Right. Or the real source of them. That's the house I know about, isn't it? Yes. Living mindfully, being aware that there are planes of awareness. We deal with this paycheck world most of the time, but there are other levels and other aspects that we need to stay open to.
And it's very possible that sometimes when you're daydreaming or you get into a trance-like state, that you can get a message much more easily. We have very short commutes here in West Virginia. It's unusual for us to drive great distances to work, but many people kind of go on autopilot, which isn't necessarily recommended, but many people go on autopilot for an hour or so driving back and forth to work, and that seems like that would be a good time to receive messages if you're kind of tranced out and doing something that's a very automatic behavior.
Yeah. When people used to iron clothes, remember that? I don't know, do you even? That's a good time, good activity, because your hands are busy, your hands are occupied, and your mind is free to contact.
Right, knitting and crocheting and washing dishes, and there's some value to those domestic acts and repetitive acts.
Yes.
And jogging,
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Such a physical fitness person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say physical fitness, or I'll have to whine.
Yes. Absolutely. They're having a very intense discussion over there.
Yeah.
Hi.
Don't look so guilty.
Yeah. So, Emma Volk, St. Bridget, John Muir, right? Who else have you liked that you've read that would be writing about naturalists or about nature?
Oh, I'm revisiting another favorite author of mine. It's mostly fiction,
Mm-hmm.
but it's fun reading. And
Oh,
the
here
guy
we go.
makes points.
Here we go.
You know what I'm going to say.
I
don't you?
do. Yep, you keep going, you do your thing.
It's Carl Hiaasen,
Yep.
Hiaase, and who writes about Florida and the way it's been messed up. That's all I'll say about it. Just because I enjoy it so much.
We like a lot of humorous authors, and we do read a lot. Not everybody reads a lot, but we do read quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we like a lot of humor. Christopher Moore and Tom Robbins and Carl Hiaasen, and
Yeah.
there's quite a few of those. Bobby said that she when she drives to work, she notices a lot about the world around me. You know, she sees a lot too. So she supports that about, you know, kind of automatic driving and knowing
Yeah.
and getting messages and seeing what's around.
Yeah, don't do just tunnel vision when you're driving. There's
Right.
way more to it than that.
It's so hard in this modern life. You know, I catch myself doing it. That you're just so focused on go get the coffee and go do the thing and go do that. You know, one thing to the next, and it can be really challenging to live well and to live with intention. You know, I get up at 5 and I get 6 meals prepared before I leave the
Yes,
house, and
yes.
I zoom off to work and work pretty hard at it till 2:30, and I come home and make dinner, or I come home and do other things, and then I make dinner, and then I was doing other classwork before we came here tonight.
Yeah.
So it's a very full day.
I don't know how you carry it on.
So there's a question: do butterflies mean anything specific? And I know the answer to that. Do you know the answer to that?
I know one, and that is their thoughts.
They are thoughts, right?
Yeah, and they are souls, aren't they?
Sometimes they are protectors of your dreams.
Okay.
So butterflies are amazing because you know they can't carry a lot of weight necessarily, but they can protect your dreams because they are fierce, transformative creatures.
Right.
Right.
Their very life stages
Mm-hmm.
demonstrate their power to change.
So for all their
Transform.
delicacy, they are very fierce.
Yes, yes.
So
I remember one day in Hinton, I was standing in the service yard hanging out clothes on the line, and there were potted geraniums there, oh gasp, geraniums.
Mhm.
Whereas in California, they're weeds.
yeah. We like
But in,
geraniums.
yeah, but in West Virginia, they're gasp.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, it's
But
not
they're-
dry enough for them to survive. They take some care here.
Okay.
So
Okay. But this one was, a butterfly came and sat on the geranium, and I saw it put its tongue down into the geranium's throat and draw out nutrients several times. And because I stood very still, it just went about its business, as butterflies do. And it was a thrill for me because I had not seen it before, not really.
yeah.
I know it's hard to believe,
Yeah.
but it was a moment for me.
Yeah.
Just to be still and be grateful.
Yeah.
That's what it was showing.
Absolutely. It's it is a wonder to behold. We watch, we see what is brought to us.
Yes, and there isn't enough wonder in our lives.
Right.
We take too many things for granted.
Right.
Or just as an everyday occurrence. Whereas John Muir, it was just a moment, a real moment of awareness.
Absolutely. And this is the time of year. For us in the northern hemisphere, it's a winter months. This is the time to pause. Right? We're starting to wind back up and get busy again for summer. And that's probably a drawback of the modern life, is that we don't have that natural winter pause that we had prior to this modern life, where we wind down in the fall. We've done all our harvest, we've prepared all our food, we've stored everything away in that hard work of summer. And then we have our natural winter pause where the nights are longer and the candle wax burns, and we can do mending and knitting and shoe making inside and tanning and all that. But the work is different.
Yes.
And more still. And we definitely don't have that in our cycle of life now,
Right.
the way we used to.
We have fresh fruit year round. We have
Yeah.
fresh grapes bursting with juice and
Mhm.
goodness.
which we don't mind. We
no,
don't mind.
not a complaint. It's not a complaint. But and we would not have those at this season if it weren't for the South American traffic back and forth.
Right.
Or wherever they come from. I'm assuming it's South America.
A hothouse somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, this is
The
our
point
time to
is-
pause and reflect anyway. So butterflies are a good reminder of that.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and to keep your eye on your dreams.
Yes. If you dream.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. Not very much.
It's because I conk you over the head. So, you know. Shouldn't say that out loud. Go to sleep now. So,
At least I don't play the TV while you're trying to sleep.
no. You holding up all right? Where'd your water go? Did your water make off?
Oh, it went behind my back. And I
It's
don't
over
see-
there.
Oh, all right. See there?
So I'm sure you're getting dry.
A little bit. But I forget. I won't offer you this because I know how you feel about stuff.
No, I don't share like that.
Right.
I didn't bring my own water, so it's okay. Carry my little lunch bag with me everywhere I go because I'm high maintenance.
There are people who could benefit from learning your ways.
Structure and order helps a lot.
Yes. Walk mindfully on the earth.
Try to. It feels weird now getting rid of so much stuff. You know, that we have so many things and so much stuff to take care of. Just not comfortable releasing so much stuff. But I know we've been holding on to it for a long time. And stuff holds us back as much as anything.
But it's I know I should release this and grow past it, but it's hard for me to do. Thinking there's good wear left in this. There's still a lot of good mileage left in this.
Yes, the go-go pants and the orange outfit and the orange sandals from the 1970s still have plenty of good wear in them.
Are those kind of things are still around?
They're still there, yes,
No.
because you can't release them. Yeah,
I can't release them.
yeah. So they're still there, but now they're making their way to new homes and
Oh,
people who
good.
would be excited to have truly vintage clothing. That's in pretty good shape. It's not moth-eaten.
I think it's Chapel Hill vintage clothing shop
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
where
So
there's
yeah,
a school.
yeah. There's lots and lots of vintage stuff in that house of yours. Lots and lots of. Some of it worthwhile and some of it not.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
So there's lots of vintage furniture that we'll have to figure out what to do with.
Early in-law.
Early in-law is that the
That's the school.
Can broken crowns? Yeah, absolutely. Can broken crowns be used for magic candle making? And yes, broken crowns can be melted down. You want to get wicks and you want to look carefully at the wicks because, again, I talked about the wicks having metal in them to make them stand up. And if you have to check that metal and make sure that you know what that metal is made of. Because if that metal has lead in it, again, it's a ferrous metal, it attracts energy. And the lead, if you burn that lead, will release lead into your environment, which is not great, especially for young children. But yes, you can absolutely use broken crowns. As far as I know, they're non-toxic, so that means they would be safe to burn as well and melt that wax.
If they're going into your mouth for a while, they better be non-toxic.
Yeah,
This
and
is,
yeah,
this is dental crowns we're talking about.
crayons.
Crayons. I heard crowns.
Yes, because you haven't used crayons in a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
You had crayons in your hands the other day, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Because you sorted me, you fixed me. We had the
A congenitally overdeveloped tidying gland.
doesn't extend to sweeping. I noticed.
Oh, I slept under the bed once.
Yeah. 1986.
Oh, I may have been in so it's 87.
Yeah. So yes, crayons are a thing.
Crayons.
I think the candle holder is on fire.
Oh.
So I think you may want to. Yeah.
If the crayons are going to little children in kindergarten who will put them in their mouth reflexively.
Right.
they're gonna be good for you.
Right. I'm kind of afraid to touch it, Zach. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
I think it'll burn itself out eventually.
Oh,
So let's. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for saving us.
A new role, the breath of death.
It's for ambience.
That's right. So yeah, as far as I know, crayons, especially the ones that are non-toxic, safe for children, you should be able to melt those and make them into candles. Double check me on that. You know, we're not here to give medical advice or safety for children advice, but but we do. I think that would be fun. I've certainly done plenty of beeswax candle making, and they do have kits where you can take sheets of dyed beeswax and roll those around wicks, and those are really cool. And oh my gosh, the kids love making those when we do that. That was I bought a kit with 24 sheets of wax a couple of years ago, and it was gone in 2 weeks. And the kids made all of theirs, and then the parents came in and said made them, and then the kids came back and said, "Can we make some more?" So they had a really big time with those beeswax kits. Those are neat.
I think they had some of those in the therapy room where I was getting worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nobody said, heal, heal, in that therapy room.
I bet you're grateful, aren't you?
Yeah, now that I think about it, I
Yeah.
am. Yes, I am.
Believe me, the heel coming at her would have been for that mouth. That's
Whatever do you
You
mean?
can get a little saucy at times there, Chicka. Get a little salty is the current vernacular.
There's
She get a little.
no market
I
for
love that
truth.
word.
No market for truth. Candor.
Candor, yeah. No. Well, okay. We'll just leave it at that, Mom. That's nice.
I think I'm about to run down.
Are you tired? Getting tired?
Mhm.
That's okay.
Mhm.
What time are we at?
8:22.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
All right, so I think we're good. Thank you, everybody. And, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to message us at mail@wicca.org, and check out the website at www.wicca.org, because that's who we are and that's where we are. And you'll find there's new thoughts on the new moon posted a couple of weeks ago, and there'll be another one out in just a couple of weeks. So we do a blog on the new moon, and we try to do a Twitter stream on a Friday right around a full moon, and hopefully we'll catch you guys next time we're up. Have a great eclipse. Be safe, folks.
Yes.
Full moon and eclipse. Be safe.
Yes, be safe. Don't do what I did on full moon.
Right. You're still reeling.
Yes.
Yeah.